first. The regular season in Sky Bet League One concluded last weekend. Everything's been brought forward 1 week in the division as a result of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. AFC Wimbledon, Doncaster Rovers and Gillingham will join Crewe Alexandria in playing in Sky Bet League 2 next season. Wycombe Wanderers, Sunderland, Sheffield Wednesday and MK Dons will contest this season's League One playoffs. And it's congratulations to the 2 teams who secured the automatic promotion places, runners-up Rotherham United and champions Wigan Athletic. And we can talk to their manager, Leam Richardson. And actually, Liam, I'm obviously going to concentrate heavily on you, but just if you don't mind, a word on Rotherham and what Paul Warne's achieved, bouncing back from relegation 3 times. I mean, that's an extraordinary achievement, isn't it, from one of your rivals to push you all the way?
Outstanding. I know Paul quite well, Richie Barker and Matty Amshaw down there as well. So I know how hard they work. And like you say, from the relegation, in the last breath of last year as well, to maintain large parts of the championship squad, they've still got to go to work and certainly hit the ground running again, and to get them promoted. I think they've had an outstanding season. With all the challenges that most football clubs face, obviously going to Wembley as well is an added bonus for them. And speaking to Paul, we actually exchanged voicemails and texts on the Sunday morning, so he was as gratified and as certainly proud as I was. But I think we kept each other honest all year as well. Certainly from the outside.
I mean, that's wonderful to hear, because sometimes these rivalries can spill over, and the tension of people being under pressure can get into the bones. But it's always been a kind of respectful rivalry right the way through, which is hard to do if you know a lot of people within the camp, is it not?
Yeah, of course it is. I think Paul was the first manager to try and shuffle his pressure onto Wigan last year, playing them the first game of the season. I think he was calling us the Harlem Globetrotters while we still had 5 academy graduates within the squad. So it's all done in good form and in good cheek. And, I think he knew the challenge, ahead of him as well. But, thankfully, we didn't disappoint him, and, we kept him healthy and challenged him all the way to the last game of the season.
Now, he was me, you see, trying to just paint the picture of the lovely relationship between the two, and you get the final word. And now the person I should be speaking to today is not Leam Richardson, but George Richardson, isn't it? Because by all accounts, he reminded you as you went for your medal on Saturday that he'd predicted this 2 years ago.
He did. And absolutely quite surreal, to be honest. I said in the interview, and, don't flippantly say it, it's obviously the administration brought all sorts of challenges and fundamental problems with it. And, very innocently, as your children do, they bring you crashing right back down to earth quite quickly. So, when I went home after obviously knowing all the ramifications of the administration, he quickly turned around and he actually, he was asking questions, what does it mean? How does it leave myself, Wigan, the fans, the people who have lost their jobs? And after trying to explain it to a kind of a 9-year-old at the time, going on 10, he looked at me quite inquisitively and quite expressionless, as though to say, well, I don't know what the problem is. Because every time you go into League One, you'll just go there, you'll pick the trophy up and then you go back into the Championship, which, at the time, again, bless him, it's so innocent, but yet so surreal. And then as we were walking out behind Rick Parry and obviously the chairman, Talal, and the chief exec on Saturday, he kind of looked up to me and he said, I told you so. We'll go and get the trophy now. And, bless him, it brings a tear to your eye, but very innocent. And, he does think it happens every other year, to be honest.
Yeah, but do you know what? You outlined something which is, I suppose, an extra pressure on managers these days, which is, of course, we forget that new generations sweep in, and people who only started watching, say, a decade ago, have very different perceptions of Wigan to the people that were there when the club was elected into the league in 1978. So it is relevant. The times change, don't they? And different generations have different expectations, I suppose, Liam.
Of course they do, yeah. I mean, that goes with the industry and hand in hand, doesn't it? It goes with the social media. It goes with the modern day football itself, and you've got to move with the times, just like the coaching and managing styles. The expectation and criteria sometimes at different football clubs, and it can run away from you. And I think you've always got to remind yourself what's actually true to form within your own football club. What substance is there? How you represent the town, the history, and you've got to try and filter that into the staff and the players, because it's important that the fans are also on board, because collectively, as you've seen from last year, when we had all our challenges off the pitch and on the pitch, coming together collectively and as strong as as you can do, and all, setting the criteria and expectation, trying to align it. Sometimes you get that little bit of luck and come together, which fortunately we did.
Yeah, I have to say, by the way, that that was just a lovely image that families got involved on the whistle and stuff, which is really important, because they've obviously spent many an hour without you there at home, and I dare say the odd one or two. Not that you've had too many sticky moments this season, but the odd one or two where Mr. Grouch has come home as well. Here's some quick fire questions for you. Instant emotion on the final whistle. What did you feel?
Proud. I felt it wouldn't bring total stability or total kind of any memory back, but I thought it brought a little bit of closure to the administration. For the people who got made redundant. It give them that little bit of humility and gratitude towards all the past. So more than likely, more for them as well. But then proud for the football club to bounce back and certainly to be as strong as it has become again from where we were.
First person away from the ground itself who wasn't at the game who you spoke to?
Paul Cook, actually.
Okay.
He rang me, obviously congratulating the staff, the players, and everybody involved. He's obviously watched from afar. And he was, he's very, very obviously made up with the result, and obviously Wigan going back into the Championship.
Amazing. There's two more of these. Let's see where we go. First thing you did when you got back home and shut your front door?
Well, the dog jumps all over.
I was going to say, if you can tell me, obviously, this is a family podcast.
No, I still had the kids with me at the time, so I was all right. The dog jumped all over me, so it was nice to have a cup of tea and sit down and take that sigh of relief in the kitchen with just my wife and the kids, because like you say, they sacrifice so much. We spend so much time away from them, and like you said there, you alluded to, sometimes they don't get the best version of myself after a negative result, but they're always there to quickly get me going again and bring me spirit. So they deserve it just as much as I do.
And finally, when your eyes popped open on Sunday morning, what was the first thing that you thought? Again, if you can share that with us.
Yeah. That I don't have to pick a team again for Tuesday, because we've been playing Saturday, Tuesday since December. So that was a nice feeling that I didn't have to disappoint any of the lads not playing, because I trust them all and I'd love to pick them all every week.
Yeah, well, you've kind of preempted, I suppose, the more football-orientated questions. Of the challenges that you've faced this season, one of them would be that fixture congestion backlog, because at one stage your chairman was talking about appealing to the Football League to maybe have the season extended. You had such a backlog to deal with, Liam.
Yeah, I've just seen Liverpool's fixtures, and they're saying they're going to play every game handed to them, and it's 63 games, and it's such a task, and we ended up playing 61 ourselves. And you quickly try and bring the health and the well-being and the mental side to the players, because to try and prepare yourself to be at that elite performing level every 3 days for 100 and odd days, it's some task. So it is a challenge. It's also a challenge for supporters, traveling up and down the country every Saturday, Tuesday as well. So you certainly look for the integrity of the competition, and like you say, you want to be the best version of yourself as well.
Yeah. And to that end, I wanted to pick out, and I know you'll want to talk about the collective, but Ben Amos and Jack Watmore playing every single game. I mean, I wonder whether we set enough stall by showing up and consistency like that in the modern era. It takes some doing, does it not?
Absolutely. I've got to compliment the staff as well to make sure the lads are out there. Again, with the congestion of fixtures, with the preparation, the regeneration of the players, because we had another number of lads who were probably available for every game, and they probably missed only one or two, like Tom Naylor, Max Power, Tendai Dariqua. We had a lot of consistencies within our team, and it's really credit to the staff, credit to the players, because like I always say, that their pressure really is to make sure they're ready mentally, physically, and it's certainly my pressure and the staff's pressure to make sure we're equipped and we're tactically right, and we're fit. They've got certain things that they have to take care of, and collectively, if we do that, we should perform and hit them consistent levels, which I thought over the season, sometimes we were a really good footballing side. Sometimes we could run. Sometimes if we had to stand and fight, we could. But I thought our biggest thing, our consistency, were really good this year.
Yeah. A rival League One manager described you as being like a metronome last week to me. He said you will always get a 7.5 to 8 out of a Wigan. You're just so mechanical. Does that make you proud?
Yeah, I think any compliment, whether it's a nice one, a backhanded one, a tactical one, I think they're always nice to receive, because like you say, in this game, it's very rare people want to compliment you, and I think the lads deserve all the plaudits, the staff included, because to start a season with only 3 players and no staff, with just myself, kind of at the forefront, to then add in assistant managers, goalkeeping coach, sports science departments, physio departments, recruitment, a full squad, all put together in a short space of time to come through pre-season, which obviously was a challenge in itself. And then, pick up such a challenging division with such teams in it. As you can see, within the playoffs, it's a fantastic fixture list, for the playoffs. And some of the teams that have missed out are, such quality and, well-coached teams. It's a real credit, really, again, to the hard work and the commitment shown by everybody who's coming to the building.
Yeah, and there was one incident as well, which is not in the manager's handbook, which was obviously Charlie Wyke's situation, where you obviously had to step in, and thankfully he's still with us. I mean, again, the emotional turmoil that could introduce into the squad dynamics and making sure everybody's over it, let alone Charlie's fit and well, was just another one of those challenges along the way, Liam.
Yeah, it's I'd never ever say it's one of my proudest moments, but it's certainly one of me most what's the word I'm looking for? One of the most happiest moments, so to speak. Obviously, to be able to live through it and come out the other way. To answer one of your quick fire questions, which could be added. I think one of my happiest moments after the final whistle was probably hugging Charlie, having a picture with him, and then him whispering into my ear to saying that I'd be ready for next season, which is, it's really a credit to him with the person that he is. One of the bravest, most great people that I've ever come across, and he'll do everything possible to being around the lads to make sure he's ready for next year. There's no doubt about that. But to see him in such a healthy condition and again supporting the lads was fantastic.
Yeah. Have you almost had to hold him back a wee bit? I gather he was ready to start kicking the ball again, personally, at least emotionally, within about 24 hours of the incident, wasn't he? So if you really had to temper him and restrict him a wee bit and make sure that sensible medical process took a hold.
Yeah. I think the club doctor, Jonathan Tobin, I think he's earned his money this year with Charlie. He's either giving him an headache or causing him other problems anyway. So he's having to educate and hold him back and avoid him, and obviously stay out of his jokes and his banter anyway. So I'm sure he'll keep him on his toes for the summer, but vice versa. But they've got a great relationship, and they'll both do everything that it takes to make sure, first and foremost, Charlie's as healthy as he can be, and he'll just keep ticking them boxes and reaching the milestones that he has to reach to be that Charlie Wyke, number 9, top footballer, top person that he is.
Liam, I just wondered whether the The depths of despair from the low point, the administration, the uncertainty was anyway compensated by the highs of getting over the line. We as human beings experience so many different emotions, but you have really gone from 1 to 100 on that scale of emotions, have you not, in 2 years?
Yes. And again, with every individual who was around at the time, last year, they deserve just as much credit. And then every individual who's been on this journey, this year to it won't bring sanity to what happened, it won't erase the memory of it, but it'll come some way to bringing some sort of closure to a chapter, I'm sure. And like I say, there's been very good people before my time at the football club, and I'm sure there'll be excellent people after my time at the football club. I'm just fortunate enough that I've had the opportunity, and at the minute I'm the custodian leading the way, and I've been able to to kind of make the right decisions and get that little bit of luck that's needed.
Are you surprised yourself?
Not really, with the staff and the players and the hard work and the commitment. I think if you believe in what you do and your philosophy and your structure, most clubs that I've been fortunate to have a really good group and managed to win something or be successful. And, first and foremost, if you try and build a happy, healthy, hard-working environment where people want to come to work and learn and educate, you'll have half a chance. And if you can get talented people running around for the start, again, you'll earn your little bit of luck. And our lads have certainly, worked hard, committed themselves, committed to each other, and not really ever left a breath out there.
Liam, I'm just looking at Sky Bet League 2, which concludes this weekend. Exeter now lead the way for the first time this season from Forest Green Rovers. They're a point clear. And then there's a whole cluster of 5 clubs separated by just 3 points. I'll just run through the fixtures for everybody listening this weekend. Northampton, who are currently in third, go to Barrow. Bristol Rovers, average points per game ratio in 2022 is right up there with Liverpool, Man City and Nottingham Forest. They're at home to Scunthorpe. Mansfield Town, who are in 5th. They entertain Forest Green Rovers, who are 2nd. Port Vale, who are 6th, they go to Exeter. So you've got kind of still chasing automatic promotion, be those chasing down the title. Swindon in 7th are at Walsall. And then you've got 2 teams who are trying to get into the playoffs. Sutton United, who are 8th, going to Harrogate Town. And Tranmere Rovers, who are 9th, going to Leyton Orient. How do you live with that uncertainty in the last week? And you had a little bit of a wobble towards the end, as did Rotherham. The ifs, buts, maybes, expectations. You're so close to it, but you can't get your hands around it. How do you live with all that in that final week, Liam?
You try and bring normality, try and bring consistency, try to avoid everybody so you're not as tetchy and as grouchy with everybody. Like Christmas Day, get to bed early so the day comes quicker. Prepare as well as you can. For me, I think every match day, you've got to reflect on the week and ask yourself honestly if you could have done any more. Could you have prepared the lads any more? Could you give them more information? Could you have done any more? Collectively, individually. And if the answer is no, you've got to sit back and try and then, leave the responsibility to the players. And make the collective decisions within game and be as positive as you can. It's tough fixtures for myself because obviously David Sharp and Nigel at Mansfield. Obviously David being the chairman here over the last few years. Obviously Joey, I know Joey very well at Bristol. So that's a tough fixture also. And obviously Daryl at Port Vale. There's no easy games, neither is there. You're going away to Barrow, you're playing for Forest Green, Scunthorpe with Keith coming up there. It's such a fixture list for a neutral. I remember commenting last week on, certainly for the neutral, League One's got such a climax, both ends of the division. And then League Two this week, the Championship next week, the Premier League coming to a close, obviously with Liverpool trying to do, the unthinkable. For sport, what we've missed over the last 18 months, it's certainly coming back in abundance, isn't it?
Wonderfully said. What does the future look like then? What's your own summer look like? And then what do you need to do to try and be competitive in the Sky Bet Championship going forward, Liam?
First and foremost, I'm going to try and encourage the staff to have a break. I think I've got the same holiday but I've booked for 3 years that we've never been on, so I'm going to try and get that with the kids, because we certainly don't see enough of them in the last 2 years. But for a football club like ours, we set out from last year, like I said, with 3 players to build a foundation, and then try and make them small steps. It wasn't just on the football pitch; it was around the stadium, around the training ground with groundsmen and certainly chefs and sports etc. With the squad. And it's important now from that foundation that we try and slowly keep building. We wanted to be, from myself, the vision is to be the best in League One in all departments and challenge all departments to be that. Now we've gone up a level and we'll start, certainly, on a starting line where we'll be, and now we want to try and pitch ourselves and make them small steps and be progressive. Nobody's ever going to sprint before we can walk. And I think, all due respect, it's always down to the owner, the chairman, the chief exec to pitch where they want their football club in the football pyramid. If they want their football club, in the echelons of whichever division, well then, I'm sure we'll act accordingly. If they want to, consolidate, etc. These are all conversations that we'll have over the coming weeks. And if by history's or by the brief history that we've just experienced this year, we'll consolidate and we'll make them decisions collectively.
Are you knackered?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned it. No, I saw Warney on the final whistle at Gillingham when they got over the line. I mean, he dropped onto his haunches. He was on his hands and knees, almost facing to the earth. I mean, it's bewildering fatigue, isn't it? The relentless nature of football, the way it sucks you in and gives you no breathing space at all to relax for 46 weeks or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's right. And it comes with the territory, with the demands of the game, with the demands of the individuals now, the players, they're all well coached, they're all well managed. The one educating, certainly through the week. And, with certainly football and media and social media, it's 24 hours a day. And, the press, etc. It's fantastic. You've got to make sure you've got the energy levels, and you've got to keep, certainly progressing forward yourself as an individual as well. I certainly feel what you've described with Paul Warne, certainly the two and a half years that we've had, what's kind of seemed to have rolled into one, really. Again, complimentary to everybody who's at the football club, complimentary to Rotherham Football Club, and you wish everybody well in the playoffs in League One, obviously League Two, and the Championship also. And
final question, how do you think you've personally developed over the past 2 years worth of experience? How has it changed you and prepared you for your own future?
Well, it's obviously there's been a lot to digest, hasn't there? I think Matt, I spoke to yourself previously where somebody told me that it'd be a really good experience being in administration and coming through it, and I'm still not sure whether that's correct.
No, I'm not either.
You certainly learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about the certain individuals as well, whether that's footballers or staff or situation. The difference was it was managing a situation, not really a football club, because football clubs are difficult to manage anyway. But then into this year, a different expectation, a different criteria. And like you say, I've been fortunate to work at some really good football clubs with some really good people. So the experience over the last 12, 14 years that I've gained, I think I've probably doubled that over the last 2 years. So, very progressive. Loved every minute of it, and looking forward to the challenges ahead.
Good. But first, just give yourself 15 minutes to sit on your sofa and stare into space, will you? It's a magnificent achievement, and you and everybody at Wigan Athletic have our congratulations. Thanks, Liam.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And thanks for your time as well.